Jule and good evening, everyone. Welcome to Lamstan CPD session, Career as an Engineer. Today, I, Stanzanidon, and my friend Jigmet Angmo will be hosting today's session. I will move forward with a brief description about Lamstan. Lamstan is an organization of young people who share the same passion for assisting their fellow students and professionals from every corner of the globe. Students of different grades are offered assistance to pursue their dreams in life. Various students, due to incompetent facilities as well as opportunities in their own native areas, find the necessity for moving to alien cities to pursue the studies of a career. Pursuing studies or hunting jobs in other cities opens a whole new can of worms. In their crusade, students often get trapped into dilemmas such as which college to study, which course to opt for, will engineering do the best for them, or should they opt for commerce courses, and the list goes for eternity. Um, in all this chaos, many students end up studying in wrong colleges, schools, or leaving the idea altogether and returning back to their native homes. Henceforth, at Lamstan, we connect students from remote areas to mentors and professionals at global level.
So for today's session, I would like to welcome Tondup Wangail. He has done his engineering from Delhi College of Engineering. Currently, he is working with the multinational engineering consultancy firm. So he is a transport planner by profession and works on international projects. He also worked on highway drainage related projects for a couple of years. And apart from his professional commitment, he also engaged with Lamstan since from the start. He has started the Lamstan organization from 2011, in which students from remotest areas were connected to the mentors and professionals at global level. So as my friend Idon had gave a brief introduction about Lamstan, we can say that it is very hard to run a site NGO like Lamstan and being consistent and determined to the work. So I would like to thank our Tunduple on behalf of all the Lamstan members for giving us such a great platform through which we can contribute to our society. And yes, I hope you will take advantage of this session and
Okay, so first we'll be having the presentation by Kale on career as an engineer. During that, all the aspirants are please requested to mute their mics. After that, we'll be having the question and answer session. The aspirants can unmute themselves and ask questions, or else they can drop their questions in the chat box, which we can pick up later on. So Kale, will you please start?
Julie, Assalamu to everyone. So, hi, Idom and Jingbalangmo. Thanks for the wonderful introduction. So, today, we have been starting at Lamstan various CPDs, and it's nearly we have done more than 5 CPDs till now, and many more to come. So, to add a variance, so today I will be talking about opportunities in engineering side. So, career opportunities in engineering. Basically, if we talk about engineering, it's a very big domain. I will cover sort of a broad overview of what things or the opportunities are there once anyone opts for engineering after their schools, and what aspect of the engineering side, which may be something that could be something new for many people here. So I would love to share a bit on my career aspect as well. So yeah, so to start with, and I would also encourage all the students and aspirants, please do ask questions. If you have any questions, you can just write it till the end, or you can in the chat box, you can just drop the questions so that I can answer simultaneously as well. So to start with, I will start with a brief introduction from where someone can start with the engineering really. So if we talk about the foundation, it starts at the school itself. Okay, so that's where you choose the direction, which way to go, whether you want to go to east, west, north, east, south, all the direction, because we know that once for choosing or for achieving a goal, you need to opt for particular direction which leads to that goal, right? So I think 10th grade, after 10th grade is the perfect time for choosing your direction initially in your career. So for any engineering aspirants, it's very important that within the Indian curriculum side, you have these subjects and you study these subjects in your 11th and 12th grade if you want to do graduation in your engineering. So there's other way of doing engineering without opting for these subjects even after 10th, which I will also cover. But to start with, let's start from this thing. So as a foundation at school, or just taking your direction, which way to go, it's very important that you go forward with non-medical. If you opt for medical, or if you opt for commerce or arts, you cannot go towards engineering domain. So as per Indian curriculum, it's very important that just as you after your 10th class or 10th standard, you need to opt for a subject that leads to your goal or the direction that you want to go, and that's non-medical in Indian curriculum side. So the subject that it has is pretty much physics, chemistry, mathematics, and English in general. And apart from that, there are many schools that offer a variance of subject as optional subject. That could be C, C++, that's a computing language, and informatic practice, that's similar language to it. And there's physical education, there's engineering drawing, which is very interesting, which is a new one, environmental science and biology. So to what I understand is, if someone is opting for engineering, and they choose within the optional subject, if they choose C++, informative practice, or engineering drawing, that will give you edge when you're doing the engineering, especially the engineering drawing, because this in a way becomes a bigger subject, and it's entirely related to many engineering aspects going forward. So just in a nutshell, it's very important that you choose the right subject for going into this domain. So at 10th level, after 10th level, you choose these subjects or non-medical to get into engineering at a very initial stage. So this is not the end of that. Just after choosing this subject or non-medical, you will get into engineering. It's not like that. So the struggle goes on after that. So what do you call it? The entrance door for engineering. At our times when we used to do engineering, there used to be different exams called AEEE, CEE, and all of different exams. Now all those exams has been consolidated into one exam that is conducted by National Testing Agency, and from 2000 since 2019 onwards, it has been constructed by National Testing Agency. Before that, it was being conducted by CBSE. But there are many changes now. It has come into recently in this JEE means, like what you can do is you can give the exams twice in a year, which gives you more opportunities to crack through. And this is a common exam that is applicable throughout the country now, which is also good, because when we used to give engineering exams, we used to give at least 7 to 8 engineering exams. So which was way more difficult. And this is a very common platform which has been brought together now. That's called JEE mains. And after your 12th exam, if you have non-medical and within the criteria that you have to be, if the marks and there's some criteria, like you can see here. Am I unmute now? Okay, so yeah, sorry. So apologies for the inconvenience. So yeah, when you talk about engineering, okay, there's different domains within engineering itself. Like what you can see here is one is called Bachelor's of Engineering, Bachelor's of Technology, that's BTech, which is very similar to each other. And there's Bachelor's in Architecture side and Bachelor's in Planning. So these are the different aspects that comes under JEE now. Okay, and if you see the compulsory subjects and what's needed, you can see here like physics, maths, and chemistry or biotechnology sort of subjects. These are mandatory for appearing into any BE or BTech qualifications. And similarly for architecture, it's very important that you have mathematics and physics, chemistry. And if you want to go towards the planning, you need to have mathematics at least. So these are various domains within engineering to start with. So now there's I will just cover a bit on the high level brief about JEE now, okay, because I told you that JEE means now it's a common platform for all the exams for engineering entrance, okay, and you can clearly see the criteria and mode of exams, and you can give this exam 2 times in a year. That gives more flexibility without having to waste a year. When we used to give those exams, we always had some students drop out for 1 year and give the exams again. Now this dropping out is not needed because you have got 2 chances within a year. So it's of very good advantage to all the new aspirants. And these exams are now computer based pretty much. Within for B and B Tech, you can see that it's computer based, computer mode, okay, and that's MCQ type questions. And for architecture, there's 2 parts. One is okay, one could be computer based, which looks up after your aptitude test, maths, and all those things. But there's a special element to architecture exam, which is also a drawing and sketching and all those things, which needs to be done in person. That's offline. And for B planning, it's again computer based. You can appear for it. So we'll try to briefly cover a bit on all these exams. So when we talk about a B Tech exam, okay, this the format, most of the things that you study here is maths, chemistry, physics. This is the main element that sort of covers the whole exam, and you need to be very good on those elements. You can take study yourself, or you can also appear for various coaching institutes for broadening your domain. And one thing that is very key and important is after 10th, it's very important you get more serious in your studies for 11th and 12th, and do lots of test paper and all those things, and be very competitive to crack these exams. And when we talk about bachelor's in architecture, okay, although I haven't done architecture, but even after cracking my engineer, just for a test once I give the architecture exam, so it's pretty much also a good one. In that architecture exam, I got a good rank of All India ST 13th rank, I guess, and I was eligible for SBA Delhi, which is the top institute for architecture and planning site, without doing any maths. So that was a bit of surprise for me, because I didn't attempt any question of maths at that point of time. The scenario could be very different, but what I was good at was the engineering drawing side and the sketching side, which takes in care a major part of your exam. So that's why what I'm trying to suggest here is, if someone wants to go for engineering, and in 11th and 12th, you have the choice of option for going for engineering drawing or engineering design, we call that subject. If you choose those subjects, that will be an add-on benefit for you if you want to appear for architecture or planning exams. So and the planning is a bit different. When you talk about architecture, it's the architecture made with buildings and all those things, those sort of architecture. And when we talk about planning is a very different domain again. It's about town planning, it's about city level planning, traffic, and all those things. So we will dig down more into these aspects in coming slides. So this is just a high level brief of what JEE is all about. So apart from that, if someone at the start, I told you to all the aspirants that there's another way that you can do engineering. So it's just after 10th, if you want to do a diploma in engineering, which many students from Ladakh do, and there's also opportunity for doing diploma in engineering after 10th grade, and you have to appear for polytechnic entrance test, which every state conduct at their own level. So for Jammu and Kashmir, and now they used to have one exam for a polytechnic entrance, and it's a course of 3 years, and you will have limited sort of engineering subjects in here. It could be electrical, it could be civil, it could be electronics and mechanical, and a few of the core subjects, I would say, for this diploma courses. So this is a 3 years diploma course, and you can enroll straight away after 10th grade. So without taking non-medical subject, you can opt for engineering. But there's a bit of drawback on this, because it's a diploma course, it's not a degree course. If you want to go for the full-fledged degree, you will need to again appear in a entrance exam for to study 3 more years to gain the degree. So it becomes 3 + 3, 6 years to get a full-time degree. And you can study those modes using part-time evening opportunities or full-time opportunities for getting the degree. So these are opt by many people who work in small companies or who works as CAD technicians or technicians. What they do is, along with their job, they try to achieve this degree so that they can progress well in their careers ahead. So it's usually for engineering, it takes only 4 years. But if you want to go via diploma route just after 10th, because you have not studied 11th and 12th, that's of advantage. But again, you have to complete, you can, after diploma, if you want to do engineering, it's a total of 6 years that you need to spend. And for some people, this may be a good route, but some people might think that it's not a preferred route for them. So it again boils down to individual level, what they want to do really. So when you talk about types of engineering, there's really lots and lots of types of engineering. Like I said, engineering is a very broad domain, and there's more than 20 types of engineering. You can see here the list. This list is also a consolidated brief list, I would say. So there's mechanical, electrical, civil, information technology, computer, electronics, biotechnology, automobile, geothermal, mining, textile, environmental, metallurgy. There's lots and lots of engineering courses that you can opt for. And but before opting for any of those courses, you need to be very mindful what you want to do going forward. Because if you talk about opportunities in government sector, opportunities in private sector, there may be a limitation of opportunities going forward. Like if you talk about specifically about government sector, they have only vacancies in the core engineering side, which we say mechanical, civil, electrical, maybe now they have added computer science and information technology. So there's a gap in there. So if the government jobs has been on the traditional sort of courses only, for core courses or the courses that has been from the very initiation. But recently, within last 1 or 2 decades, within engineering, there's lots and lots of types of engineering and courses that has been brought together. And this is one of the limitation, I would say, or one of the key areas that you need to identify going forward, what you want to do, and accordingly choose the stream. And one more thing, for choosing the stream, it's very important that you get a good rank in your JEE exams. Again, it boils down to you after cracking your exams, when you appear for the counseling, you need to choose a list of subjects or the courses as per your priority that you want to do. Like for me, that could be I have to choose civil engineering at top, and then mechanical, then electrical, and all those things. So at that point of time, when I got into engineering, I didn't have much appreciation, but my father always used to say, do civil engineering. So I just thought maybe just take it. I wanted to do mechanical, but somehow I got into civil engineering. And I can now thank him that I have chosen the right field as per my interest now, because at that early stage of career, you never know what you want to do, and it's very easy to get carried away with any fantasies. Like within mechanical, you will work on different vehicles and different designs and all those things. So that could be an individual choice. So yeah. So it's up to all the students what they want to do again, but a good thought before choosing any career stream is very important as well. So now if you talk about the overall course and the engineering in bachelor's of engineering and bachelor of technology that we call, so it's a total of 4-year course, and it consists of 8 semesters. Okay. So the semester first and the second semester is very similar to all the courses. In fact, the first semester is 100% same, because it's just where you study advanced mathematics, physics, chemistry, and you also appear for various workshops like welding, molding, sheet metal, uh, forging, and those are the sort of workshops that all the engineering students need to do. Okay, and after that, there's some opportunities, like I talked about the selection of the courses, and if there's any vacancy within that 6 month, and there's a potential upgrade that you can do, like you opt for mechanical, but you got civil, and mechanical was your first choice and civil was your second choice. So if there's a vacancy in the mechanical, or someone from mechanical has moved on to other colleges and there's a vacancy, there's a potential that you go to the next stream, you get the mechanical stream as per your desire. But there's an option to freeze the courses that you have got. So if you freeze the course that you want to do civil and you've frozen that course, then what happens is, okay, you are not upgraded. So that's why there's a flexibility. So I would say within first year of engineering, there's a flexibility of students who want to move up as per their choice, if they want to do so. And the second and third year is more related to specialized course, like where you study actually about more in depth about your particular course that you have opted for, whether it's civil, mechanical, electrical, anything. And you will drill down more into those subjects. You will do relevant workshops and all those things. And fourth year, which is also very important and critical, you have to do a project work, and in some colleges, you do an internship in third year as well, and fourth year is mandatory anyhow. So you will need to do an internship with any of the companies or any on-site, like I did my internship with NHPC, Archie at that point of time. So many students do with BSNL or even with astrophysics, and there's lots of opportunities within Ladakh and outside Ladakh as well. Lots of students prefer those things. And the most critical bit now I can say is the 6th and the 7th and the 8th semester, where you go for placement. So if you get admission into a good college, there's a good opportunity for placement. So it's also important that you opt for a good college to start with. Study hard, get into a good college that will further make sure that you get more suitable opportunities going forward. So this is just the overall review of what an engineering student goes through while they're doing their graduation. So that's BE or BTech that I'm talking about. So now you can see after graduation, there's lots of directions again. Okay. So when you talk about the directions here, so after graduation, students start very early, preparing early, and attempt for early for their further opportunities after engineering. Whether they want to go for CAT, GET, and private placement and all those things. So within the 4th year of engineering, they do the real attempts. So it's very important that the students start early. As soon as they get into engineering, after their within their second or third semester, they start thinking of what's next. So that's a level of competition today we are facing, and that's a big that's the level of competition that each of the students need to go if you want to be among the best. After graduation, like I said, there's private companies placement that you can go through, or you can get through. It is called GET test, which is again a test after engineering, and which opens the door for you to joining public sector units. So different PSUs, and also this opens the door for you to get into master's college if you want to do MTech. And many students or aspirants would move towards CAT. That's entirely a different career aspect. They want to go do MBA courses. So it's a truth that lots and lots of engineering students move towards management via CAT. So they further go into IMs and FMS and all those management colleges for 2 more years. And they go into the management career stream and don't prefer to stay into the engineering stream. When we talk about government services, there are also opportunities at state level. Many exams happen for JEE, AE, and all those exams in railways, in PWD. And similarly, there's opportunities to be in the military engineering service. That's again like where you work as a military engineer, or whether it's be a civil, electrical, or computer, and all those things. So it's again the selection criteria here is pretty much very similar to CDS, that many via which you go into the lieutenant side into army. It's very similar. Like once I have tried this one, really got through the initial sort of screening, and then I had to appear for that 5 days of test. But unfortunately, due to some issues with the certificate or some dates which was wrong on the certificate, I was rejected at the very start before starting the 5 days. But what I want to emphasize here is there's also opportunities for an individual to serve in military after doing their engineering using this military engineering service. And apart from that, there's also like all the time we talk about IAS, that's Indian Administrative Service, right? There's also IES, Indian Engineering Service, which is also very competitive. I would say it's not a very easy exam. The number of vacancies is very less, and you need to be in top and very competitive to clear these exams. And once you clear this exam, you will be at a gazetted post in a center level sort of and at a very good post, I would say. So many of my friends who are non-locals, who are they have cracked this, and they are serving as officers in Indian engineering services. So apart from that, few students also go for the master's courses. So if you want to do master's, that's MTech. Again, it's important that you you clear the gate first. So it's literally a gate. It's gate aptitude test for engineering. So once you clear the gate, then again it's an entrance test that you do. You will be shortlisted or selected in different exams, different colleges, whether it be IIT or many other good colleges for two more years of master's to MTech course. One thing I would like to stress on here is like MBBS or in medical stream nowadays, after doing MBBS, it becomes almost mandatory for any aspirant to do masters, MD, and all those things. So that level of competition is also in engineering. When we passed out from when we did our graduation, frankly there was not much of competition. But nowadays, getting into any companies or anywhere, only the students with at least master's degrees are shortlisted. Now you can understand the quantum of competition that has increased drastically. And after masters, some people also go for PhD courses, or even after masters, you can go for private companies. You can again appear for government engineering exams and military services and Indian engineering service as well. So that's the snapshot of what engineering student does after graduation. These are the options that they go for, and there's other options like many students opt for because it's again a professional degree, and you have flexibility to go into anywhere. Like a few people also goes for administrative services, IIS, and all those things. So it's unlike it's very similar to a degree that you have got or you have graduated, and you can go into do or give any exam that you want after graduation. The only benefit it's a professional course that you're doing. So opportunities in private companies, like this is what I would like to focus on here. And because I'm into this career field, I'm working in a private company, so obviously I have more appreciation on those aspects. So what I would like to do is I would like to focus on this very much. So and one more thing, and just before that, I would like to, because due to some technical issues, this session might end in just next 1 or 2 minutes. If it happens, people, you all can join the same link, please, and you will be back into the same meeting session. And we can continue. So just to reiterate, if this session ends in another minute or so, please join the same link with the same password, and you will be in the same session. And for now, if I would talk about opportunities in private companies, there's endless opportunities that we are not aware. Even when I got the placement, and at that point of time, even I was not aware really, because one thing that most of the people who join this call are from Ladakh, so I would focus a bit on Ladakh, because uh, people here doesn't have much appreciation on what are the opportunities in private sector. We always think about government sector. Our parents emphasizes that you become a J, or you become an A, or you work in the government sector. Yeah, that's good. That's what they have seen. Uh, that's what they understand. But just trust me, there's endless opportunities outside as well. So I will bring in more try to bring in more appreciation on what sort of opportunities are there in private firms, and a bit on that. Am I audible? Let's start the session then.
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. So what I was talking about is I was talking about the opportunity in private companies. So I would like to emphasize here to all the aspirants the kind of attitude or kind of mm, role that you need to play during your third and the fourth year of engineering is very important, and that's what it decides where you lands up. Okay, so I will just say that in your do's list, it should be that you need to be very proactive for placement in the third and fourth year. And you need to prepare a good CV and keep it dynamic as per the company's requirement. You need to keep on changing, or do bits and bobs of edits or addition as per the company requirement when you're applying for any company. It's a must that you need to clear all the back papers before placement. As an engineering student, although I didn't have any back papers, but I understand many of the engineering students because they go through a hard drill if you are in a good college initially, and sometimes it becomes difficult, and they end up taking up sort of back papers in year first and second year. But if you want to appear for colleges, want to appear for placement, it's very important that you clear all your back papers before your third year at least, so that way you get ready for your placement session. And you need to understand that you need to shortlist companies that you would like to work with, and be prepared on what sort of process they have for selection of graduates. So you're a fresh graduate when you're out of the college. So all the companies do recruit fresh graduates, unless there could be a handful of companies then that they may take only experienced one. But most of the companies, or the multinational companies at least, have the culture of recruiting new graduates into their companies. So there's what you also need to do during your third and fourth year of engineering is you need to build up your aptitude test, which and English in general, which includes your maths, logical reasoning, data interpretation, on all those things. So it's very important that you build up the skills to a good level if you want to sit in a placement, because many of the companies does their initial shortlisting through a quick test, online test, which has most of these elements. So even if you have a good score or you have good grades and you are not able to clear this sort of test, you will not be able to sit in the interview. So apart from that, it's also important that you practice, do a lots of practice for your interview, and look out for off-campus placement as well. In many of the colleges, especially if you are not studying in a very good college, there may not be good opportunities for on-campus placement, or those companies coming to your college or not. So you need to look out for opportunities outside your college as well. So you can look into many opportunities via LinkedIn or visiting their company websites which you're interested in, connecting with their HR and asking for their timeline for any graduate recruitment, where you can share your CVs and try from your side for off campus placement. So it's also a very important element that all the students need to do. And not with the students who are from Delhi or outside Ladakh, but especially I've seen a kind of attitude that students from Ladakh carry. So I would say please don't carry these attitudes if you're an engineering aspirant or you are doing engineering currently from any of the colleges. So the attitude that you have to dump is like, I will see after engineering what to do. So that's a big mistake. You need to understand that the world is moving at a very fast pace and competition is there and no one will wait for you. So you need to think ahead of the time what you really want to do after engineering. Many of the engineering students I have seen is they also always carry this attitude that I will see what to do after engineering. First, let me get rid of engineering. Then I will see whether I will go for government jobs or private jobs and all these things. Please remember that no one is waiting for you. And it's very important you carry a very good attitude and do hard work and think before even getting passed out from any of the engineering college. The first, like many of the students also have their aspirations to apply for to do Indian Engineering Service or apply for PSU via GATE, and they think that maybe I can the doors for private companies will be open even after I give this attempts 1 or 2 years, and then maybe I will look forward for any private company. But again, it's very utmost important that now what I have seen is basically, okay, I'm working in a private company and I've always been engaged in all the graduate recruitments, whether those are coming from those are masters or MTech students or graduate students as well from different colleges, including IITs and very good colleges and private colleges sometimes. So the kind of understanding that you need here is they give chance to a fresh graduate. Okay, so it's very important that when you're in final year of engineering, you're a fresh graduate. So you need to understand the quantum importance of the time there. You are graduating recently from a college and you are willing to join a private firm. So that's what they see. So if you have already crossed 1 or 2 years after your engineering, you are no longer a fresh graduate and you won't be considered in their fresh recruitment. And you can be a part of you can come under the domain of an experienced one again. Without joining any company or any work experience, you also fail to be in the experienced one as well. So it's a very tough and a challenging thing that I've seen, and that's why it's important that you get into the private firm if you can in the final years of engineering as a fresh graduate, and if you're not able to do so, that would mean that you need to have relevant experience after that. And yeah, that's the route that you need to go through. And many of the students, especially again talking about Ladakhi students, have the attitude that okay, my parents want me to come back to home, so I shall not sit in the placement itself. Okay, it's a big demotivation sometimes. I understand. But I have not been to this process. But again, it's very important to understand that the perspective of our parents and perspective of what you can see now, because during their, as per their exposure or their understanding, they might have seen only government jobs and opportunities in government sector. But there's lots of opportunities in private sector, which could be a blind side for them. So it's your responsibility again to make them understand that, these are the opportunities. If I get into a private firm, these are the multinational companies, and these are the exposure levels of exposure learning, and this is what I can do going forward. So again, it boils down to compelling your parents or making them understand. Because if just once someone said, one of the expert in one of our interviews said this line, and I really liked what she said. She said that your parents are the people who knows you the best, who knows your capability, who knows you from since childhood. And if you can't compel them what you want to do and what you really want to do, if you can't make them understand, then how would you overcome the challenges outside, which are challenges which are outside in this world? How will you overcome those challenges if you're not able to make your parents understand who knows you the best? So again, it's a food for thought, I would say. So you need to make sure that your parents understand what are the opportunities there, and then try to go forward with those opportunities. And one other thing that I've seen is many students does is casually sitting for placement without much of effort. Again, it's everywhere there's a competition. I'm talking about positive and good competition, not sort of a negative sort of competition. But yeah, again, it's very true that for success, for getting a success in career, you need to work hard, and you can't make it casually sitting in a placement without much of the effort and without preparing for your interviews well, or the test or process they go through. So it's very important you prepare ahead of the time. And the other thing that I've seen many students is, okay, just I need a CV. Okay, okay, Tondup, give me your CV. Stanton, give me your CV. Okay, I will just copy and paste those elements into my CV and make it a new CV. That thing doesn't work. When you apply for any company, your CV is your performer. Basically, your CV is the first impression that any other recruiter have. I have seen many CVs. I've seen, frankly, I would say I've seen hundreds of CVs for shortlisting to our company. And the first impression, even before any telephonic round of interview or any calls for the interview, first thing the recruiter goes through is they look at the CV and see that whether this candidate seems to be a good one or not. So CV is your first impression. You can understand the importance of how good your CV needs to be and how attractive it needs to be if you want to go into a private firm. So one thing again, in one of the past CPD session, a few of our MBA experts says that, okay, a good college can open a door for you to be in a good company, but it cannot guarantee your success within the company. So it's very similar line in this. Placement will open the door for you to a new career opportunity, but how much you stay in is in your hands. So it's again very true. Many of the students get placed in good companies, but they end up getting out of those companies very soon. So that's what one thing I would like to share here. So one thing that you need to make sure is once you get into a company, you need to be very hardworking. You need to keep learning. You need to take ownership of all the works that you're assigned and deliver it to the best quality. You need to socialize with your colleagues. You need to invest a lot of time to learn in your initial few years. You need to get registered with professional institutes for professional certifications. Like in my case, it's Institute of Civil Engineers, IC, which is a renowned institute in civil engineering line throughout the world. And there's TPS, Transport Planning Society, extra. So for all the career, like we have a degree course, we have a certificate once we get out of the college. But again, after that, there's a professional certification that we talk about. So you need to be more proactive to think about, to learn to how to achieve those things. Like you must have heard of a chartered accountant, right? Did you ever heard of chartered civil engineer, or a chartered engineer, or a chartered geographer, or a chartered transport planner? So those are the opportunities that you have at international level, where you are you can have an opportunity to learn to be more proactive in your professional field, and you will get a professional recognition or certification that you are a competent person in this particular field. So there's lots of certifications you can go forward. So these are the doors that gets open once you get into a MNC or any private company. So don'ts, within don'ts, I would say don't get engaged into bad habits and colleagues uh, that would be like okay, you don't need to be in a bad company of your colleagues. So always focus on the good things that you can learn. There's good and bad in the company, corporate cultures. There may be bad habits as well, so you need to avoid those things and try to keep yourself focused on learning the good things that will build up your career. And other thing is many people leave too early within a year or two, but thinking that it's not a cup of their tea. But frankly, trust me, initially you might have issues, you might have problems, you might have challenges making your family or your parents understand that okay, you want to do this career going ahead, because they might be in a mindset that okay, Ladakh is a better place. Okay, that's obviously it is a good place, and they might be in a mindset that you need to keep applying for government jobs and go take these opportunities. But it's again up to you how you make them understand, and how you go forward in this line. So this is very important. So I will just give a brief insight about some of what I do. So a brief insight in my professional line, I would say. So I'm sort of more into designing and modeling. So it's more of office job, not a side work. So I'm working as a senior transport planner currently in a multinational engineering consultancy firm that's called WSP. So it's one of the renowned engineering consultant throughout the world, and has its presence pretty much in all the continents. So it's a very good company. So I'm working as a senior transport planner in that company, and my expertise in sort of junctions design and signal specialist sort of things. So I pretty much work on in nutshell, I work on traffic decongestions, like the problems that we face with lots of queuing on the junction, lots of accidents or people, all the queuing that happens on the junction or the delay. So my day-to-day part of job is, if they said, okay, I work for the country that's UK, so my job is to make sure that any junctions or any critical intersections are not doesn't have much delay, and how to make it future proof, how to make it optimized that people traveling home from those junctions can do not have to wait for much longer time, and it's more safe for pedestrians and all these things. So it's all about road safety, traffic signals, and there's lots of advanced technologies that keep on popping, which still is not in India. So it's a really good opportunity to learn about those aspects. So this is myself on a site in the UK on the traffic signal side of things. Few of the opportunities that I see here is, okay, in 2018, I was presenting to 150 UK creds within the company about the India business. And it was a really good opportunity for me to present there, and I got lots of appreciation for this presentation. We also talked briefly about Lamstan, so that's what I always do, and I love to work with Lamstan, and what we do at Lamstan is something that really I like, and which helps a lot of people, including myself and lots of aspirants as well. So I'm also a trainer to many of the UK staff for the domain that I'm expertise in. So this is some of the snapshot of the training training by me to various colleagues in the UK in different offices. So again, within the company, we get lots of opportunities. So I also got the opportunity being one of the 8 people within 1,000 people who work on a special research program every year. So that's also a different sort of thing. Apart from technically day-to-day what you do, you get other opportunities. So there's, what I mean to say is there's lots of opportunities within the company if you seek and if you really want to go forward for those things. And this is when I got the Technical Excellence Award within the company for my work. So there's also lots of appreciation that you get if you're really working hard within the company. And the professional institutes that I'm talking about, I talked about IT. So I'm doing my chartership via Institute of Civil Engineering. That's a world-renowned institute for civil engineering. So I'm aiming to get chartered engineer status. So that's the professional development that I'm going through currently. And also I'm the India PDS mentor for Transport Planning Society. So where I oversee the junior or the colleagues within the company for their professional development now within the transport planning domain, how they want to go for incorporate transport planner status or chartered transport planner status and all those things. So there's opportunities for engineering students. Similarly, I'm talking about civil engineering here, but there's mechanical, electrical engineering. All those have different institutes throughout the world. So and pretty much their graduate membership, if you're a college student, is free. So I would suggest and encourage you all to apply for this free memberships, which will give you better exposure about what's happening within the industry and all those things. And this institute also does many sessions within the country, in Delhi, Kolkata, Mumbai, and all those places. So perhaps you can physically visit one of their CPD sessions where you can meet the industry experts. You can talk with people from various domains, and this will give you a bit insight about what goes into the professional side of things as well. So there's opportunities in the design consultancy that I'm talking about. So I talked about civil. So pretty much for anyone outside, civil engineering is one civil engineering, but trust me, it's a big domain. So if you see here, you can see there's a structural engineer within civil engineering, there's a bridge engineer, there's a highways engineer, there's drainage, there's environmental transport, geotechnical. So these are all the branches which comes out of civil engineering only. And similarly, there's electrical, mechanical, software, and all those specialism that one can do in a corporate sector. So it's again a lot of specialism within the domain that we talk about. In general, we think that okay, a civil engineer can produce a diagram of or a plan of a home. So it's pretty much true. Okay, it's part of one of our foundation courses that we go through, but trust me, when you get into specialization, it's very, very huge. I have worked in highways, drainage side for a few years, and then I'm working in transport. And within transport itself, the domain is very big. It's all about specialism that you need to do. So you need to be specialist, and it's a very good opportunity, I would say. Like, trust me, frankly. Like since I've been in the company, I've been throughout the UK multiple times. So I've been to the length breadth of the UK. So I've been to most of the cities within the UK, and it's great interacting with different students from different colleagues from different backgrounds, working together on international projects and having that exposure of learning, development, and those things, and it's always a learning curve for myself as well. So it's very important that you do take these opportunities seriously and give your best while you're going for any placement sessions. So this is all about a brief in the opportunities in engineering side of things. So I would now welcome time to bring some questions to the table. Really. So Yeah, over to you, John. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Kale. Now we will have the question and answer session. If anyone has any question regarding the presentation, or if you want to ask something about the engineering side, you are requested to unmute yourself, or else you can drop the questions in the chat box.
Hello,
Yes, hello.
am I audible?
Mhm.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
Yes.
Sir, could you please tell a brief more about the military engineering service like that? How we
Okay.
can apply there, or is there any physical fitness required?
Okay. So yeah, thanks for the question. It's a good question, and someone that I can relate to really. So because it's it's a military engineering service basically. For this thing, what happens is I forgot the exact term for this. Connect with me later. I will give you more details about that. But just in nutshell, I would say there's a specific exam or a screening process that the Indian Army follows. Okay, wherein which you can apply in your final year of engineering. While you're studying in final year of engineering, you can apply for this service, and they go for a round of one thing is there's two aspects that you can do. One is when you're doing your engineering studies, and one is after you complete your engineering. So I'm talking about the first aspect, that is the while you're doing your engineering. So when you're in third or fourth year, like I talked about the placement in the private companies, like similarly the Indian Army also visits the campus sometimes, or they have not particularly one campus. During our time, although I used to study in the Delhi College of Engineering, they had their sort of recruitment session in Maharaja Agar Singh IP University. So all the students who were interested, who applied for that, got shortlisted, and then there were army majors, captains who were undertaking GD. Okay, GD. There was two rounds. One was a GD round, where they give you a specific question or topic, and then you need to discuss among 10 people and come up with a story or solution. And there's a personal interview round where you're being interviewed by a few of the major and colonel level sort of ranking officers. So after this screening process, they invite you for the 5 days screening process that actually happens at it may be at Bhopal or Dehradun, or all those places where their CDS recruitment happens. So it's pretty much similar. And you need to once they shortlist you, they give you the letter for shortlisting. They give you the call letter for those 5 days screening process. You need to be there. Unfortunately, during my time, some exams were going on for the college side, so I could not be in the regular batch. So I had to go into the absentee batch, and within the absentee batch, it's very tricky to get in. So I, along with my friends who had sort of one thing wrong, one date was not mentioned. Like we were passing out in 2012 or 13, but the month was not mentioned in the certificate. So this just showed us the way out straight away, as and when we reached the campus straight away. So, but if you get shortlisted in that screening process, you need to go through the same process that any CDS recruitment happens for the screening process, which have picture description test, which has your 5 days of physical exercise, group work, teamwork, and all those things, and then the interview. And after that, you go for the medical. After that, the shortlisting happens, or you get recruited into the Indian military service. So that's one aspect, which is while you're studying or doing your engineering. And the other aspect is I have one senior who have sort of completed his engineering. After that, they appeared for these specific exams that you need to go give for military engineering services. And once you clear that exam, you need to again, if you clear that exam, they will call you again for this 5-day process. And if you get through this 5-day process and going forward, then yeah, obviously you can be in the engineering service within the military. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Kale, we have
Sir, I have
more
another.
questions in the chat.
Yeah. No
Okay,
worries.
okay. You can
Yeah,
continue.
you can continue. You can ask the question. Yes, you can ask the question.
Sir, currently I'm pursuing aerospace engineering from Punjab Engineering College, and I'm in second year. So I would like to ask that there is lots of scope of aerospace out of Ladakh, but I would like to ask that is there any good scope in Ladakh for aerospace aeronautical engineers like that?
Yeah. So again, what I would say now here is first question. Okay, okay. It could be personal as well. So why are you sticking to Ladakh only? First thing, is there a particular reason why you are seeing Ladakh? Is it something that your parents want, or that's what the idea that they have in their mind that you will be serving within Ladakh or something like that? What's your understanding?
Not from parents, but I think it would be better if I work here in my native place. That's the reason, nothing else.
Okay, so okay, that's onto your personal choice. But yeah, one thing I would suggest here is first thing, take the opportunity, whatever you get outside. It could be within India, within outside India as well, international opportunities. Take the opportunities. Once you have enough experience, okay, of a couple of years or more, or a decade of year of experience, you might find an opportunity within Ladakh as well where you could serve. You never know. You got my point. So because there's whatever we do, one thing is to get specialized in a technical skill. After that, it doesn't matter where you are. Like you can move around many companies where you want to go as per your requirement. Like the important thing here I'm stressing is to gain that technical ability or specialism within one domain. Or if you talk about aerospace engineering, maybe there could be technician or any sort of those sort of role, which if you gain experience outside, and I think there will be opportunities within Ladakh in various airports as well going forward, that they may require specialized technicians from the aeronautical engineering side of things as well, right? So if there's no specific thing, like the one thing I would say is keep your mind or broaden your domain where you want to see. Like don't narrow it down very early stage in the career. Keep it broad domain where you can go to any side of the things. Like whatever you want to do, you can go forward for it, and you can think in a couple of years, okay, this is the area you want to go, or you want to change it. You have various options after that as well. So it doesn't matter where you are. Like currently, so if you talk about designing consultancy, okay, you just need a laptop and all those things. You can work from anywhere. Currently, I'm working from home, and yeah, I'm in Ladakh. So what difference does it make? And sometimes I work from Delhi, and sometimes from UK. So it's going forward after this Corona thing, entirely the way we work is going to be changed. So what, in nutshell, I would say is to initially broaden your scope, what you want to do. Just don't narrow it down to Ladakh. You might not you might not get that opportunity to learn more if you just narrow it down at a very initial stage. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, there's a couple of questions. Anyone want to ask any other questions?
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yes.
am I audible?
Yeah.
I'm in civil engineer currently studying in Delhi College of Engineering.
Okay, that's
And
good. Same college.
so like Yeah, can you throw or shed some light on the offline placement?
Okay,
I mean, because
so
here, like in civil engineering, currently it's less. I mean, there's a less chance to get in.
okay, what year are you in currently?
I'm in second.
Your second year, so you have got some good time. So I would say, like, for students who are passing out this year, if they haven't already got a placement, it's really a tough year with all those economic downturns. So you have got good opportunity. Okay, first thing I would say, try to be on the on-campus placement. Okay, so you need to start early. So you're in second year, you
Okay.
have a good amount of time to start your preparation and to get into any good companies. And DC as a college is a very good college, and there's lots of companies that comes in, whether it be core civil engineering sort of work companies, or it be business consultant or any other areas that we talk about. So first thing I would suggest you, okay, you can be in a constant contact with me on WhatsApp, or if you need any advice on that thing. So first thing is you get good grades within your courses, so that you are eligible for sitting for placement. Second thing is there's no ST or category cutoff for any private placement. There's nothing like that. It's only for the government, which now is through gate only most of the time. So it's very important that you start early. So it's a good time that you have asked now. So you start your preparation, you talk to your seniors who have got placed, and certainly there are seniors who have got placed. I understand this year as well, who are from Ladakh as well. And don't restrict yourself to Ladakhi people only. It's very important that you have that diversity,
Of course.
and the group that you be in. Once when I got into engineering, once there's Singh Tondup, who is now managing Taj Hotels after he did his MBA from FMS. He gave me a really good suggestion. Like I said, okay, we got the admission very hard way, with a couple of cases and all this due to some STA quota issues. But the advice, and I was really excited and said, okay, we are this Himachalis and Ladakhis, we have got one room. That time when I said that, he just objected and said that you need to be in a green domain with all the people, engage with all the non-locals, don't stay in your own cocoon. So that's what I would advise you here as well. Be in constant touch with all the non-locals, all the students, like be in a good group. Like it doesn't matter whether it's Ladakhi or not, so that you have that appreciation and the strive or the interest of placement first thing. And then slowly going forward, you need to focus on this. When it comes to your third year or fourth year, obviously I can give you many references in terms of private companies where you can apply or all those things. So but at this point of time, it's very important you focus on a group of people. I'm unmuting everyone, and yeah. Normally you were asking the question normally from DC, right?
Yes, Carly.
Did you get the answer, what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I got it. I mean, try focus on placement for now, and
Yeah.
try to increase the grades as well.
Yeah, first thing is first thing for now, the immediate thing that you can apply is, first thing is you need to focus on your grades, get a good grade, good score, make sure that you don't have any back papers. You don't have any back papers. And second thing is
Yeah, no,
make
I
the
don't have.
environment around you, make the environment with all the non-local people who are really striving or who want to get into placement, and you make good friendship with placement coordinators of civil engineering branch maybe, because during our time as well, the placement coordinator was my friend. So you will definitely have the edge over others if you have that level of friendship with those people. So what I would say is, okay, make the placement coordinator your friend. Okay, there's a and be in good contact or good people, list of good people who wants to opt for placement, and this will provide you the environment where you can strive basically.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so any other questions?
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, Julie Gale.
Yeah, Julie.
Civil engineer
Yes.
da. Kui ta lamdin
Yes.
je jo ta khar khar chu ta da. Zoom na. Juda ji de.
Yeah,
Some background noise is coming in.
uh,
Yeah,
Jung,
as lockdown has impacted that. Yeah, as lockdown has impacted a lot on job market. Okay,
yeah.
so there are many experienced employees are now jobless. And so, what's your advice for a 2021 batch undergraduate students? Yeah.
2021 batch, right? So for 2021, maybe by that time, economy will revive to some extent, and it's not like that all the students who have got placed are being sort of are not being given the offers to join the company. Companies are honoring the offer that they have made, because typically, for if you talk about placement, the shortlisting process and everything happens pretty much in December, January, and by uh, uh, February or March, everything is decided in terms of offer letters being sent. Because typically students join a company in June or July. So most of the companies, I understand, have honored the offers that they are making this year. So similarly, for going forward, one thing is for sure, maybe the competition could be a bit tougher than it used to be. So and the vacancies may be a bit less than what it used to be. So for that, you need to be ready, and you need to be competitive and work hard to be among the best. That's what I can suggest. And yeah.
Ole Gale, thank you.
So, Kale, I tried noting down the questions that was in the chat box. So, one student was asking, is engineering stressful?
Okay. So engineering, to some extent, okay, maybe not as stressful as any medical MBBS sort of courses, or up to that level, I would say. Rixon, you are the host now. You can start recording if you want. But the difference is, okay, as the stress, the real quantum of stress starts when you just pass out of your 10th grade. At that point of time, you had very minimum book of this much thickness of science, okay, social science, maths, and all those things. But after that, you get this much level of piles of books for one subject. That could be your chemistry, that could be your biology. So it starts on building just after 10th. But what you need to do is you need to be proactive in terms of your learning method. You can't go word to word from the start to end. You need to adapt to a new way of learning things. You need to be a bit proactive. During our engineering days, what we used to do, frankly, we used to review all the last year question papers. Based on that, we used to back study what can be a potential question that may be, because 30 to 40% of the questions are being repeated of last 10 years, whatever they have been asked in those particular relevant subjects. And few of the things we used to focus initially on the notes given by our professors and teachers. And then only if we had some time left, we used to roam around digging down more on the book side of things. So it needs to be a combination of hard work and smart work, I would say. So for many people, if you do the traditional way of studying, what you used to do in your 8th, 9th, 10th, like you study the whole book and all those things, that could be quite stressful, but you need to work out smartly.
Okay, I hope she got the answer to her question.
Okay.
So the next question was,
Yeah.
how will be job market after the lockdown?
After the lockdown, like I said, there could be, the competition could be a bit more. Okay, obviously there's many layoffs that happen. One thing that I would say in private, uh, the job security may be a difficult term if you are not a good performer. Like within government sector, once you get in, even if you're performing or not, nobody's bothered, really. That's the truth. And nobody can sort of determine your job security. But in private, like I said at the very initial stage, like placement can open the door for you to be in a good company, but how much you stay in that company is entirely in your hands. So you need to be a good performer, and yeah, those things is very important. So you need to work hard.
Okay, thank you, Carla.
One more thing I would say, all the people, all the students here, okay, you can ask questions in Ladakhi as well if you're not comfortable. What is the best thing you love about engineering? Okay, so yeah, that's a nice question. So about engineering, like the thing that I really love is whatever we study or whatever we learn, there can be some practical application of it. Like in there could be, like, if you talk about history, geography, or history or social science, or in the political science and all those things, maybe those sorts of subjects are more theoretical in nature, like where you think about lots of thinkers, lots of theories and all those things, but you will find very limited amount of practical application that you will find. But when you talk about engineering, it's something that comes in your day-to-day life. Like the specialization that I am doing right now is pretty much traffic engineering and modeling and junction design and all those things. The roads that you see in Ladakh, where there's lots of traffic congestion, there's lots of opportunities how we can optimize the delays and improve the road network, the parking facilities and all those things. So it's really something that will help the society or the wider people benefit more. Like when you talk about medical or a profession, like it's a saying that people say early that if a doctor does something wrong, there's one life at stake. The one who is at the operating bed may die. But if an engineer makes a mistake, then there's a lot at stake. If you think of a structure or a bridge or a building which has not been built properly, or even a town planning or a junction that has not been built properly, there could be enormous amount of accidents and lots of people can be at stake. So it's really something which you need to do. You need to be a good and expertise in what you do, and you need to understand your limitation, what you can and you cannot do. For me, if you talk about structural engineering, I'm not an expert in structural engineering. I can tell a lot about roads, how roads need to be, how the geometric design can be, how the signals can be optimized, how we can avoid accident, how can we provide more parking space, or how can we provide more pedestrian safety signals and all those aspects. But I can't talk about bridges. I can't talk about buildings. So that's my limitation. But what I am specialized in, I do the best I can in that domain. So about engineering, it's the practical application and the impact it has on the wider audience that I love.
Okay, so someone has raised his hand.
Yeah, Tondup, I guess. Raise your hand. You can
if you have any question. Yes, unmuted himself.
Yes.
If you're talking, you have muted yourself, Changchuk. Please unmute yourself in case you have any question.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. This is my first time to be in a Zoom meeting, so I don't know how to use this one. Sorry.
Okay, no worries.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, yeah. So it's been almost 6 months. I have graduated at means it's been almost 1 year.
Yeah.
I've graduated civil engineer.
Mhm.
My college is not that much good, so
Mhm.
we don't have any placement. I'm civil engineer, and we don't have any placement, and now I'm like jobless. I don't have any jobs, and I don't know what to do after this. What I have been doing, I'm kind of lost. So what do you think? What should I be doing right now? It's not that I don't know nothing, but I know nothing. But right now I'm also studying. I'm
Mhm.
studying like how to design those houses and building. But right now I don't have any idea what should I be doing. I'm kind of lost. So is there any suggestion?
Mhm.
What should I be doing?
Okay.
I'm in Ladakh.
Okay. Sure. So,
Yeah, thank you so much.
yeah, that's a good question. What you really want to do, like whenever we talk about a career, okay, I always suggest that you think of yourself 5 years, at least 5 years from now, what you want to see yourself doing. So, for the first question, what is your answer to that? Where do you want to see yourself 5 years down the line, or what do you want to do? If you truly just ask yourself.
Sorry. Really sorry. I just got call from my parents. I'm outside.
Yeah,
Really sorry.
yeah,
So
just.
actually, right now, after 5 years, I think I want to be an engineer. Right? Engineers maybe designing some. I don't have any idea, but it's just that I love being. What is this? How to designing and now I don't have any idea. What should I be doing? I don't know. I just
Mhm.
want to be an engineer. I have been studying a lot, and I don't know. Right now, I'm just kind of lost.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Okay. So yeah, there's no need to be like thinking that you're lost really. So there are people what you need to do is first to streamline. Okay, if you want to be in the design side of thing, there's two aspects of engineering as well. One could be site, one could be design. You need to first decide where you want to be. Whether you want to be on a site as a site engineer, or whether you want to be a design engineer sitting beside a computer and designing things. Okay, and after that you need to prepare a good CV for yourself and apply to anywhere, not restricted to Ladakh only. In Delhi, in Bangalore, or anywhere like where you see some opportunity through contacts, or through looking at LinkedIn, and apply for any small or big company. Like you can't be talk if it could be a small Indian firm as well, where you get the designing opportunities. Because for anyone who has passed out but haven't not been placed in their final year, it's important that you gain that experience first. It could be something at a very minimum salary, or a stipend that you are working for 6 months for that design or Indian design firm. You may be learning something, okay, rather than just being standalone. You will learn something, and it will build on your experience that you have worked in this firm for 6 months or 1 year or 1.5 year. And based on that, you can apply for a firm which is bigger than that. Okay, because
Yeah.
nobody is restricting you. It's not a government sector where you once get in, you're stuck in that unless you resign. Okay, there's multiple opportunities of hopping around here. So you can be in that firm for some time, and then look out for bigger opportunity, go to the bigger firm, and then slowly and gently increase your capabilities. It's all about your specialist. All the big companies and all the companies hire experienced people. So it's time that you start getting that experience. Even being in Ladakh, what you can start from is you can start from the opportunities that nowadays are being open for all the through private agencies. They're doing recruitment in engineering domain, right? You can apply for those things. You can get some side experience on those experience will not go in vain. And then you decide which way you want to go, whether if you want to go into structures or architecture side of thing. You can build on some side experience first, and then build on the CV, and then go into a designing into a small firm, and then gradually you can go up into a multinational firm level, or even abroad as well. Nobody is restricting you. So the initial thing
Oh,
that I would say is you build up a good CV, and then you pace it up. You never give up.
okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. And if you
Thank you
need
so
any
much.
help, no
It's been
worries.
really nice talking to you.
Yeah, you can ask me for some suggestions on your CVs and all those as well. No worries.
Okay.
There's one question from
Thank you.
Henry is from uh, Kasi. I'm not able to spell it. Sorry. The name starts with Q. You can ask your question, or you are not in audio if you're writing. You need to click.
That's me.
Yeah. Anyone? Any other questions, please?
I think she has a question, but I don't know. She's not joined the audio, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone has any other questions?
Like Kale, we saw that you've achieved a lot. Halale.
I have one question, Kale.
Yeah, Jigmet. Yeah, you can ask question.
I want to ask that could you please suggest how to prepare for JEE entrance preparations?
Entrance preparation. For that, I could be someone who is very old. Really, I've completed my engineering 7 years back, roughly. So if that adds on 7+4, it's more than 11 years. But one thing definitely I would suggest is, okay, I can connect you with relevant students who have recently passed out. Like the structure may be different. It's one thing for sure that I can suggest is you need to do lots of testing yourself, test papers. That's the key for any entrance. You need to give lots of test paper. Only then you know that how much kitne pani mein tum ho. Because when we study usually, okay, we study that, okay, I've completed this chapter, now this chapter, I know everything. But when it boils down to giving any test and there's a specific question from anywhere, you get striked somewhere. So it's all about finding those loopholes and being consistent. So one thing that I can suggest though is give lots and lots of test papers for everything you study, and review all the old questions or the papers, or all question papers, practice those, and study smartly, not just study hard. It's very important to study smartly. Yeah, Jigmet, did this answer your questions?
Yes, thank you, Kale. Could you still please describe more about how to study smartly?
So like I said, for our engineering point of view, what we used to do is we look at the past 10 to 15 years question paper, what was the important question that has popped out, and then first focus on those things at a very elementary level. Okay, at least this thing is done. And then focus on the college notes, whatever our professor used to give. And after that, we used to jump on all the remaining things. So it's all about studying smartly. Like in your case, like if you're talking about entrance, you can think of all the questions, see all the questions that has come in previous years, do those practice, and then study more smartly. And one thing that I would suggest is sometimes studying alone doesn't help. You need to have a group of people who are dedicated and who can help each other, who can motivate each other, who can trigger each other, who can poke each other that you don't know that question, this answer for this question. Okay, who can instigate each other. So it's also important to have that group of people who will help you be more consistent and proactive in your studying method. So it's not always about studying alone. It's a team effort, it's a group effort.
Okay, thank you, Kale. Thank you so much.
Yeah, any other queries? Anyone? Yes, no harm in it.
Do we have more questions left?
Okay, and Chondol is asking how much internship is helpful in our career. Okay, Chondol. So when you talk about internship within engineering, there's in third year or final year, you need to do a mandatory internship. Fourth year is mandatory, third year is optional in many colleges. So what happens is few people, if you are getting internship in a good company or a design, especially in the design sort of company, or you end up getting an offer from those companies as well, because you have spent 2 months with them, those people, and if your work was really really appreciated by those people, team leads and everything, you get a good opportunity during the recruitment process as well, that you might potentially end up in that company. So first thing I would suggest is, personally, I have never taken this internship very seriously, really. It was just sort of a completion sake. But if you want to be in a good company, especially in designing side of thing, you prepare a really good CV and approach the HR of those companies very early for this opportunities in their company for internship. Sometimes it becomes difficult for them, but some companies do provide this opportunity, because this helps you gain a bit of understanding or insight in how a corporate, what is the corporate culture, how that company operates, what sort of work those people do, and something built up the connection with those people as well. So I don't know which course you are in, Chandul, if you can speak out, or which course are you in? Engineering? Hello, Chandlu. Which course are you in? You can type in the private as well if you want. Civil. Okay, for civil, if you want to go into designing field, that's what I've seen. Many people get some opportunities, so you need to be proactive in this approach. And rest, if you don't want to take it seriously and do just for the namesake, it's up to you as well. But I would recommend being a bit serious if you want to do it in a nice way, and learn, which help you in learning in advance. Like it's within engineering, it's not very much prominent that where you do the internship, they offer you the role or the placement. But if you talk about MBA or all these things, it's very much prominent that where you do 2 months of internship, you get most of the opportunities for those companies. So again, to be bit on the serious note, I would say that if you try to be with a good company where you want to be, like in which year you are, Chandru? You can type here as well. If you're in second or third year, you still have time. Like if you're in final year now, it's you might have less time. Second year, okay, that's good. So you have a good time. You can refine your CVs. You can build up your contacts in private companies or via LinkedIn and all those things, and you can try approaching those things in advance. Like next year or after next year, you might be in an internship role that you can like. So that's a good option for you. Okay, so any other questions from anyone? Anyone? TCLA, so question, it's a good opportunity to ask question. Like this is the first session that I'm giving online, really.
We can take up more questions if there is, or else we can end up this session. If anyone has questions left, you can please ask.
Just ask question. Don't shy away from asking question.